3 6 Mafia, Mystic Styles. Never heard it. I probably didn't hear 3 6 Mafia until 1997 when they re-released Tear the Club Up for Chapter 2 World Domination. I had friends that were into 3 6 Mafia and Kingpin Skinny Pimp and Al Capone and the mixtapes of DJ Spanish Fly and DJ Squeaky, but those were a little too dark for me. Most of the Memphis hip hop that I was listening to came by way of Houston, specifically Suave House Records, with 8Ball and MJG and Tila, artists that were a little more laid back. Plus, I'm a Texas native, so the stuff I was listening to, aside from Ghetto Boys, was a little less high energy. And if I did listen to something that was a little more upbeat, it was typically more fun, like bounce or Miami bass. In other words, I wasn't trying to hit a motherfucker. Throughout the years, I sporadically listened to 3 6 Mafia, and I always understood their importance in modern hip hop, but I never went back to the beginning. So I'm gonna do that now. The album starts out with Break the Law, a song that I've heard before, but I'm not sure if it was this version or not because there are so many. I believe the original Break the Law was on DJ Paul's Underground Volume 16, although an original 3 6 Mafia member, Playa Fly, who went by Lil Fly at the time, also has a version from 93. Or maybe I just remember the Project Pat version from 2001. Either way, this is basically a DJ Paul solo cut, and it sounds pretty much like you would think a 3 6 Mafia song would sound. That was not the case for the following song, The Summer. It's a breezy, laid-back track that sounds exactly like the opposite of a 3 6 Mafia song, and it sounds really jarring right after Break the Law. The story goes that even after they changed their name from 666 Mafia to 3 6 Mafia, the radio still wouldn't play them. But when the people at the radio station heard this song, they decided to put it on the radio, becoming 3 6 Mafia's first song to ever get played. Any other group would have changed up their style to make more songs that sounded like this. But if you're watching this video, you know that that is not the case. Next we have Live By Your Rep, which is a Bone Thugs and Harmony diss song. I always knew that there was a beef between these two groups, but I never really paid it a whole lot of attention. One, because there's a bunch of groups that claim that Bone Thugs and Harmony stole their style, and also Bone didn't seem to pay a whole lot of attention to it. Aside from a few lines on a few songs, they never even mentioned 3 6 Mafia. So it always felt like a one-sided beef. Having said that, I could definitely see how Lord Infamous and Coops the Nigga would think that they were stealing their style because there's a lot of similarities. Luckily, their beef didn't last long. In 1999, Crazy Bone did a song with Project Pat, and they've been cool ever since. Before we move on, I just want to say that I really like the structure of this song. One member talks about all the awful things that they're going to do to Bone Thugs and Harmony when they meet them, and then they ask the following member, hey, what would you do? And then they tell them all the awful things that they're going to say. It's sort of like if you took the Wu-Tang torture sketch and stretched it out to 5 minutes. The song Tear the Club Up on this album is musically the same as the 1997 version, but lyrically it's completely different. In the 1997 version, it's about gangster walking in the club until you have to call security and they have to break up everything because they're tearing the club up. In this version, they're literally talking about murdering people in the club. And it features the theme song from Young and the Restless. The full name of the song Big Business is Big Business Chopped and Screwed. But this song is not chopped and screwed. You could say that it's screwed because it's slowed down, but it's certainly not chopped. And one thing that I hate, and another thing, and that's why the song isn't chopped and screwed. But on the song Fuck With This Click, they do sample Slip Into a Coma by Houston artist Point Blank, so I guess that makes up for it. On the title track, DJ Paul refers to this album as Loked Out Smoked Out Part 2, which I'm assuming was the original title of this album before they changed it to Mystic Styles. Also, this song features LaChat, who I didn't know went back this far with 3 6 Mafia. I don't remember hearing her on anything before Project Pat's 2001 Chicken Heads. Also, she's 16 when she recorded this, so kudos to her. She sounds great. I've always felt like I understood the influence of 3 6 Mafia. Intellectually, I get that without them you don't get crunk, you don't get trap, you don't get drill. But listening to this album made me appreciate them on a completely different level. The storytelling on songs like Sweet Robbery, Back Against the Wall, and Gotta Touch 'Em feel like precursors to King Von's story raps. These guys weren't the first or the only group to make music like this, but they certainly took it the furthest. These guys stuck with a sound that most people wrote off as lowest common denominator or simplistic, and now their sound is basically the blueprint for popular music. I've listened to subsequent 3 6 Mafia albums, but this is my favorite by far. None of their other things sound as wicked and as dark as this one. It would be easier for me to tell you a song that I wouldn't listen to again, and that song is Big Business, and I'll tell you why. It's because, so have you heard Mystic Styles? Are you still bumping it to this day? I'm going to keep reviewing albums until I run out. Until then, I am Free Tillman, the only guy on the internet that doesn't know everything.